what timeline would that be? Guillermo del Toro directing fucking Gurren Lagann. That would be that is the whatever timeline that is on is probably worth all the bad stuff that happened. If we get that, but also Trump in 2024, I mean, I feel like that might have still been the right road, you know? Vaush, give another Marvel take? No, I can't. If I give too many Marvel takes, you guys are going to literally fucking unsubscribe from my channel. I they can't keep doing this. I highly doubt you could even adapt Gurren Lagann for live action. No, you never could. You never could. It doesn't matter who the director is. Did you like the second part of Gurren Lagann? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Gurren Lagann was really good. Who doesn't like Gurren Lagann? I think the first part was stronger, you know? There are a couple of like meaningful problems in Gurren Lagann, I think, that work to its detriment. The first thing, and I'm saying this very confidently, okay? The movies are worse than the TV show. I know everyone's soy faces when they watch the two Gurren Lagann movies because they end with the extra scaling up where the whole cosmos is consumed by the two, but thematically, the second one is just not as good, okay? I do not like it as much, for so many reasons. First of all, I understand you like titties, and I like titties, but some of the fan service in the movie for Gurren Lagann just comes off inappropriate to me. Like, this is like humanity's triumphant conquest over the obliteration of the universe, and they're like literally like flopping titties on the screen during, you know? That's... look, I don't have a problem with fan service, but like that's not no. I understand that anime fans are degenerates and whatever. I'm just not for that. And secondly, and here's the thing that really bugs me, okay? Why was it that Simon, when he took control of all of the disparate mechas and united into the biggest form against the anti-spiral, why is it exactly that he took the form of his brother? Wasn't the point that Simon was forging his own path? Simon, sorry, was forging his own path through life and trying to define himself outside the shadow of his brother. But then when he takes his final form, he ends up imitating the form of his brother. I know that there's anything like necessarily wrong with that. It just feels a bit weird to me. He just became what he wanted? His brother? Isn't that like the opposite of his character development? I don't know. That just seems fucking weird to me. There are also a lot of really weird pacing issues with the... Look, whatever. Stop. Hold on. Lagann Hen final form. I bet that'll bring it up. Look, the real hot take would be me going on and on about how Gurren Lagann is problematic, but I don't think YouTube is ready for that. I'm not ready for the like to dislike ratio on that take. Yeah, there's the ultimate final... I mean, it's not explicitly do it, don't upload it. Do any of you even know what Gurren Lagann is? Am I not talking right now to like 7 people in chat who understand what it is, and to the rest of you, you're completely unaware? Okay. Here are all of the things that I didn't like about Gurren Lagann, which is an anime that was incredibly good, and I like it generally, but here are the things that I didn't like about it, okay? First of all, Yoko is 14 in the beginning of the series, and they fan service the fuck out of her, and I think that's disgusting, okay? The weird thing is that Yoko doesn't even look 14. This is this thing anime does where they know they have degenerates in the audience, so they're like, well, we have to have hot girls, but we should make them look like adults, but actually let's say they're kids. It's like the opposite of like the 1,000-year-old lolly thing, where they look like basically adults, but then they get like made 14. It's really, really weird. And the only reason this is a thing, by the way, as far as I'm concerned, is to is just to play to degens, okay? I just think it's really fucked up. Also, like, the only, like, narrative reason that you could really give excuse to this is because you have 2 characters who are kind of like the mains at the beginning, right? You have Simon and you have Kamina. And Simon is 14, yes, and Kamina is, what is he, 17, 18? What is he when the show starts? He's older, but Yoko goes after the older one. Now, there's nothing wrong with media in which a younger girl has a crush on an older guy, because that happens in reality, but the show never really discusses the ethics of that outside of, like, well, it just doesn't, really. They kind of fall for each other, and then Kamina fucking dies, so they just didn't really even critique it. It was just, yeah, it was just like a young adult and a 14-year-old girl, which is weird. And Yoko always acts like implicitly older than Simon because she looks older, but she's not older. They're the same age. It's really fucking weird, you know? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand the necessity. I reject all of it, okay? I always figured she was Kamina's age. Nope. Just a second. Let me just confirm this, okay? At series start, Yoko Littner was... Nice black text on black background. That's super... Yep, 14. There we go. And if we go Simon, well, just call Simon, because that is how English-speaking people would say his name. 14. Yeah, he starts at 14. So he and Yoko are exactly the same age. Now, just can I let me delight your imagination for a second, okay? And let me ask you if these two look like the same fucking age, all right? DTGL, Simon, not adult Simon, obviously. Young Simon. DTGL, Yoko. I hate anime. Why are there no images of Yoko? Hello? We being real right now? It's all fan art. What is it? Wait, is it because I have safe search? Thank you, person in chat. Is Yoko Littner so inextricably tied to fucking degen hentai fanatics that safe search is blocking like basic pictures of what she looks like in the anime? Whatever. Here's Simon. Here, he's 14. Here's Yoko. There, she's 14. Kinda weird. Here's Kamina, TTGL. Here's the image used from in the wiki. There's Kamina. There's... Oh, wait. The picture went away. Whatever. You get the point, right? You understand? We get it? Can I move on from this? He's 14. No, this one's like 17. Yeah, he's 17. He's 14. The other girl was 14. It's just weird, okay? Anyway, that bullshit is super, super weird, okay? And they play it up and the fan service is there. And I just think it would have been stronger if they hadn't done that. There's really no reason Yoko had to be 14. I don't understand why. Anyway, all that aside, I think that, like, the biggest weakness of the show, like, thematically, is the fact that its understanding of masculinity is, in addition to being kind of outmoded, is also really, really fucking patronizing. The whole like analogy of the show of Gurren Lagann is the idea that the spirit that propels humanity forward, like our sort of driving spiritual force as a species, is tied intrinsically to the masculine virtues of persistence, determination, and ambition, and that it is those masculine traits that push humanity forward, and they do this by inextricably linking spiral power, which is the magical force used in the show, to masculinity and people's feelings of masculinity. In the show, people, mostly Simon, who's the main character, has the ability to use spiral energy more and more, depending on whatever masculine feelings they have at the time. It's like a feels-based mecha like show, if that makes any sense. Same with Kamina. All of their strength comes from a set of characteristics that are directly linked to what makes them a man, which is all reinforced by the fact that Kamina is constantly talking about how this is what makes you a man, this is what men are, this is how men live, this is what men do. And also by, at several points, very, very explicitly indicating that the power of the spiral is connected in some way to feelings of sexual attraction or conquest over women. That is to say, whenever a dude's feeling virile AF, he's gonna pilot that mecha. Now, I don't have anything, like, inherently wrong. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with an allegory which relates masculinity to strength, because that's a pretty old allegory, you know? The issue is that the spiral power that's tied to masculinity is also the driving force of all of humanity. Where does that leave women exactly? That's a little bit weird, right? Because in the show, like, women are strong and stuff, but the spiral power that literally, like, magnifies the strength of humanity is pretty directly tied to men and men alone. Women are strong in their own ways, but it's not spiral power. It's, yeah, you know? It's just, like, their own strength. So that's a little bit odd to me, you know? It seems to me like the show went a little bit past, like, a sort of positive affirmation of masculine virtue, which I have nothing against, and went full on into, like, men are what make the world go round, which I do have an issue with, especially since so many of the virtues that are propelled by the show are kind of not great. Kamina is an impetuous, stubborn buffoon who constantly puts himself in danger. And the show does critique him rightfully for that, but it never makes him anything less than the cool guy archetype that he started the show as. Even when Kamina dies, I mean, he's eulogized as like a hero of humanity from that point forward. He's practically like the Jesus Christ figure of all of humanity, because Kamina was the leader of their band, and then that band ended up like reestablishing humans' civilizational presence on the surface. So not just himself, everyone. There's a whole episode that he refuses to fight because he doesn't feel manly. Oh yeah, that one where he refused to fight the guy who plays the guy who does voice acting for Link in the Zelda games, because he didn't think the transformation animation they were doing was cool looking enough. I have nothing against him being a buffoon. He's a huge buffoon, but I don't know if the show criticizes him for that. And a lot of the masculine virtue they promote really just seems like dog-headed, stupid, abrasive, uh, like, you know, marching forward. Like, take the final conflict in the show, right? And this is one of the things that I really don't like, with regards to, like, how the plot of blah, blah, blah is structured. And it's the final conflict. So spoilers, I don't care if any of you don't care. The final enemy is the anti-spiral. Basically, the anti-spiral used to be one of the many, many alien races out there in the universe. But then it realized that many of these species, through their spiral power, their drive to life, their ambition, were expanding and growing and becoming more powerful, and that eventually their power would cause the universe to end. It's not really described that specifically, but the idea is that the strength of a spiral species will eventually lead it to unimaginable heights, and that those heights will eventually destroy the universe, which is easy to believe given the fact that in the course of like 10 years, humanity goes from a bunch of like tribal villages buried in the ground to piloting a mecha the size of a galaxy against another mecha the size of a galaxy. It kind of tracks when you look at it like that. So the anti-spiral's job is basically to lock themselves away and to suppress, extinguish, slaughter, or genocide all the spiral races, so that they can't destroy the whole universe, right? So the thing is, in the few episodes leading up to the big climactic finale, it is pointed out that the anti-spiral is correct. Simon, the protagonist, has like a vision, basically, where he realizes that, yeah, spiral races will grow and eventually destroy the whole universe. He knows this is a thing that will happen. And then he goes ahead and kills the anti-spiral anyway. And at the end, the anti-spiral is like, well, how the fuck are you going to do the whole... How are you going to keep the universe from dying? And Simon's like, I'll just keep it from happening. That's literally what happened. So yeah, his answer was literally like, we'll just not do that, you know? Seriously, the anti-spiral is like, how do you expect to prevent the end of the universe? And Simon's like, well, we just will, and and they never question that. And it's like, well, fuck, I need a follow-up. Did they just doom the universe? I don't trust Simon. I don't trust. We made it pretty clear that the threat that was posed here was completely legitimate. You know? If anything, the message that you can take from the end of that show, if you want to be really, really uncharitable, is that your personal quest for glory and self-actualization is more important than any consequences along the way. That's kind of what it is. Humanity numbers but 1 million people in the time of the final battle. There's only 1 million humans living on the surface. Exactly, more or less. You know? There aren't that many humans. We're gambling the whole universe on this, and no thought is really even paid to the potential consequences. And I get that's the point, but is that the masculinity the show is promoting? Just stupid, dog-headed pursuit of your agenda. God damn the consequences. It doesn't matter, no, like, at all. That just seems a little bit dumb to me. In a lot of ways, I feel like shows that follow up from uh, um, Gurren Lagann handle that theme much more responsibly. Like, for example, Promare. I thought Promare was a much more responsible way of handling the same basic themes. For one, the main character in Promare basically just looks like Kamina, so that's about as close of a line as you're going to get. And without spoilers, you know, Promare, in addition to being super sick, is a show about a incredibly masculine, dog-headed, almost fanatically driven sigma male, doing whatever it is he wants to do, but he's tempered by a sense of social responsibility. It's not just a matter of personal glory and actualization, it's contextualized by an understanding of the world that he lives in and a desire to achieve radical reform that'll fix everything, not just sort of be his mode of actualization. And I thought that was a does that make any sense? Like a more it seemed like a more responsible way of hitting on those tropes, you know? I also like the fact that in Promare, there is a feminine man, and the feminine man isn't a joke. I've got two of him over in the fucking display shelf back there. The feminine guy, Leo, in Promare, is a strong, hard-headed, willful character with an independent character arc. Uh, you know, whereas the feminine character who exists kind of as a mode of contrast in Gurren Lagann is kind of like a joke character. Like he's super smart and cool, but if I just type in TTGL gay character, yeah, he comes up. There we go. Leron Littner. Yeah, like don't get me wrong, I like this. I like this guy. You know, I think he's a queen and everything, but he does all of the creepy gay tropes. You know, Kamina will remark on how he's like a thing or an in-between. He pervs on Simon in spite of the fact that this guy's like in his 30s and Simon was 14 when he was doing so. Like all of the, like he exhibits all of the characteristics that like anime have sort of historically assigned to flamboyant gay characters as a way of turning them into a sort of joke prototype. Whereas in Promare, your boy Leo is just cool. I mean, he's a femboy. He's about the femmiest femboy, but there's nothing about him that's sort of made like there's nothing, no joke made about him or at his expense. You know, it's not really like a mockery made of his character. You know, so I think it's important to have characters like that because you want to establish that contrast, right? You know, the art style is gorgeous. Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful anime. It's almost all 3D, and somehow it looks really good. You know, in spite of that, because typically all 3D anime have issues, but you know, it's a movie. Yeah, it's Promare. Go watch it. Seriously. Um. Anyway, I really, really like Promare. Super, super good. Hopefully, you get what I'm talking about. Where can I watch Promare? I think it's on YouTube. I mean, you have to pay for it there. You can find it all over the place. Just look up Watch Promare. It'll give you a list of wherever it is. Anyway, the final thing that I want to say, the conclusion that I want to arrive at after all of this is that I think that the one of the other reasons why I like this character quite a bit and why I think they serve an important role is because masculinity isn't really one thing. There are a million different interpretations of it. And Kamina in Gurren Lagann was always kind of like a ludicrous, hyperbolic, super mega alpha male, you know, who no real human being is like exactly, but he was more of an archetype, really. I mean, he was too ludicrous to be true. He was like completely larger than life. Everyone in Gurren Lagann is larger than life, you know. Um, but it was all like one type of masculinity. Whereas there's a lot more variance in Promare, and I think the fact that the other extremely dedicated and committed and driven and willful person in Promare is a femboy kind of indicates that whatever spirit they're really touching on here isn't necessarily masculinity so much as it is like a fundamental drive to life. And I think that's maybe just a better message and etc. etc. Okay, you're right. We've been sunlocked for too long. I'm sorry. Stop this. Don't clip this. Don't make a video out of this. Ryan, I swear to God, don't please stop. Do you think Kill la Kill is problematic? Absolutely. Why the fuck do they have to be high school girls? Ugh. I swear to God, there's so much good anime out there, okay? But it's like somebody went over with like next to the anime factory with a sewage truck and just sprayed liquid shit all over it. And the liquid shit was like, we are comfortable sexualizing like young people. All right, close all these stupid fucking tabs. Aren't they high school age because the target audience is high school teens? Nope. The most fervent consumers of anime are like otakus in their 30s, and those are the ones who buy the Blu-rays too. Also, even if everyone who watched anime was like a high schooler, that doesn't mean that the next follow-up is like, okay, so let's have all the characters in anime be high schoolers, and then let's all sexualize them. I don't think that's like a necessary follow-up to that. I'm not saying that you I'm not saying you can't have fucking high school characters in anime or anything. I'm just saying